I'm Mel Keith. I'm a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Health Sciences at the University of Sydney, and my research is on the impact of technology on health and well-being. Have a think about when the last time you looked at your phone was, or when you scrolled your Facebook or Instagram feed, or had a look at a snap that somebody sent you. My guess is that it wasn't that long ago. So technology has become such an integral, routine part of our daily lives for so many people, and it's important then to understand what the impact of this on our well-being, on our relationships with each other, and on our sense of self. And that's what my research is about. Data is so important to my research. I wouldn't be able to answer any of these really interesting questions without it. So many of my studies involve surveys. We conduct online surveys that we ask people to complete to share about their own experiences, their motivations, their well-being, and this information then gets collected and we analyse and interrogate that data to look at the patterns between them. So in 2014, when Instagram was still sort of new and it didn't have features like stories or videos, there wasn't a lot of research being done about it, and we were interested in what people do on Instagram, how frequently they use it, the types of images they post, who they expect to see these images, hashtags, filters, and all of that. And we conducted an online survey, and that's given us a fairly extensive data set to have a look at. And what we were interested in is what the relationships were between each of these different variables. So we compared the types of images that people posted, if they expected strangers to view their posts or not. We looked at whether being motivated by a sense of belonging or being motivated by presenting a particular image of yourself led you to use Instagram differently. We looked at the reasons why people used hashtags. And so this data set has enabled us to answer a lot of these really interesting questions, and yet there's still so much there left to explore as well. So data visualization is really important for being able to communicate our findings to people. So some people are like me and they like numbers and words, and so statistical output in a paragraph makes complete sense to them. But to most people that's not really the case. And so in one of our studies we were interested in the relationship between people's motivation for using Instagram, what they did on Instagram, and their well-being, so their social support and their life satisfaction. And that's so much easier presented in an image. So you can see being able to present it in this triangle form makes it so much clearer to look at the relationships between these different variables. And so data visualization is really important for us to be able to share with the wider community our research findings. Data integrity is really important to our research. We need to be able to trust the information that we collect. At the start, when people were first using online surveys, there was a lot of discussion and debate about the integrity of that data. So, how do you know that people are actually saying what they mean rather than what they think you want to collect? Or how do you know that it's not the same person answering the survey 50 times and that person isn't the researcher themselves? And so being able to put in place structures and systems and checks and balances to be able to trust that data is very important to us. Data science has such a huge role in looking at the impact of social media on well-being in the future. If you think about everything that Instagram collects about us or Facebook collects about us, having access to that huge data set and then being able to ask people what they think they do and comparing what they think they do with what they actually do will enable us to have a much better insight into our behaviours and the impact of these behaviours on our well-being. And data science enables us to do that. My advice is to find your question. What is it that you're interested in? What are you curious about? What do you want to know that other people haven't answered yet? The data and the data science are tools to enable you to find that answer, but what drives you and what's actually really interesting is the question. So find your question.